All right, my name is Sean. I have closed $400,000 in cash collected at a over 70% closing rate in the past 4 months. And today I basically just want to talk about the main thing that is kind of the mindset that I've had through this entire sales process that has really been the difference between me closing like 50% and 70%, right? So, and that's going to be just thinking about helping people when it comes to sales. Okay. And I have this short little exercise that you can really do to understand the importance of helping people. And if this clicks for you, it may just work forever. You might be set for the rest of your life in terms of sales, because that's at least what happened for me. I use this exercise, and I don't know if you guys have ever had cold or dry streaks when you do sales, but this has made it so that I don't have any more dry streaks. Like, after I understood this, it's like this was the reason for any dry spell that happened. Okay, so think of things this way. Think about a time where you had a friend or family member or someone you really cared about was fucking up in life, right? Maybe they had they kept going back to a girl or a guy, they kept going back to a bad ex who was a bad influence, or they were just generally doing bad in life. They were just like self-sabotaging themselves, right? And you saw that and you did something to help them. Like, you told them, like, hey, we need to sit down. You had a one-on-one intervention with them, okay? I want you to look back at that conversation and really think about the passion and all the emotion you had with that entire conversation. You were probably extremely passionate. And I mean, if you were like me, you were extremely passionate. You genuinely wanted to help them. And it was a very like heartfelt conversation, right? And you talked to them, maybe it got heated, maybe it didn't, but think about what happened at the end. Because chances are, right, that family member or friend or whoever you had that conversation with, at the end of the conversation, they were probably like, damn, like, maybe you're right. Do you really see me that way? Do you really think I should stop? And they have a moment where it's like, shit, like, maybe you're fucking right, right? And you might not have realized it, but you just basically closed them, right? You basically sold them on your belief that they were doing something wrong. And if you think about sales, it's the same thing. You're transferring your belief to another person. And when they share the same belief as you, they buy. Because people don't disagree with each other and buy, people agree with each other. That's the point of a salesperson. Your goal is to get them to agree with you, and once you guys are in agreement, they buy from you, right? That's how this entire thing works. So when you sold them on your opinion and they ended up agreeing with you, you won. And that was what sales was fundamentally. And that's why I'm saying sales is about helping people. Because if you genuinely want to help people, you want to do what's in their best interest, you're going to ask the right questions. You're going to be able to bring emotion out of them. You're going to be able to bring emotion out of yourself, and everything is just going to be 10 times easier. If you think about any sort of sales tactic you've ever picked up on along the years, it's like, I guarantee you, if you were trying to help people, right, you would have done that sales tactic intuitively. You wouldn't even have noticed that, you were doing it. So if you want to learn how to sell, right? If you're new to sales, or you're not new to sales, or whatever, wherever you're at in terms of sales, think about the passion that you had from that one conversation, and that's generally how you sell. Okay? And how I even realized this was when, like, as I mentioned in the beginning, it's like I've gone through like dry streaks in sales, right? I've gone through periods of time where I do really, really fucking well. And just a little bit of background, I've done door to door, I've been cold calling, I've been through everything, all right? I haven't just been through the low hanging fruit like a lot of salespeople do. And I've succeeded in every single offer from the very beginning. From the very beginning, I did well, and I would always do. It was the same cycle. I would do well in the beginning, and then right like maybe 3-4 months in, I would start like seeing a drop off in terms of my results, and I would think to myself, like, why? Is it the people that I'm talking to? Is it the area that I'm in? Like, because I used to do door to door, like we would drive over to like different cities and stuff. Is it the area that I'm in? Is it the race of the person? And I realized that no, it wasn't. It was never that. It was never that shit. It was just because I had grown so accustomed to my success that all I cared about was achieving KPIs. And when all I cared about was hitting KPIs, I stopped giving a fuck about the customer, which is what got me to those amazing KPIs in the first place. And I guess what I only recently realized is about 2 months ago, and ever since then, I have never had another dry streak. Every single day has just been very consistent, very, very consistent. So if you're struggling in sales right now, or you're looking to get into sales, this may just be kind of what you needed to hear. because, and especially for those kinds of people who are looking to get into sales, it's not a scam. You know, I have a lot of friends who feel bad about getting into sales because they think that it's a scam. Shit is like, it's corny because, like, you know, maybe you've gone into, you know, some telemarketer, or you've gone to a car dealership and you've had a bad experience with a salesman, and you're just like, I fucking hate salespeople, right? But those people aren't bad sales. Like, those people aren't a representation of what sales is. They're just bad salespeople. It's like, look at teachers, right? It's like, if you have a bad teacher, does that mean teachers are bad? No, right? No, absolutely not. There are good teachers and there are bad teachers. Just like there are good salespeople and there are bad salespeople. And if you choose to be a bad salesperson, then you're like, then it is what it is, right? But if you choose to be a good salesperson, just know you can still make a lot of money from that, and you'll do better than bad salespeople. Okay, it's the difference between having the willingness to give up a sale for the sake of the prospect and the sake of your peace of mind, as opposed to maybe making that quick cash grab and fucking yourself over long term, because your reputation is gonna get fucked, and you're not gonna have any trust in yourself. Belief in yourself is the main thing. If you believe every single day that you're gonna go out and scam people, that pales in comparison to going out every day and just knowing that you're gonna help people. You know, so keep that in mind. And I also want to give an example from like what happened recently, right? I recently had a high ticket close for $18,000, and I literally had 3-hour-long sales calls that had nothing to do with like the thing I was selling, and it had nothing to do with it, and I ended up closing them the fourth call. And the reason we had those 3 calls prior was because I wanted to help them, because they, like, obviously, like, so my offer specifically, right, is we help people who generally have businesses, and it's e-commerce, if you guys are familiar, right? And I used to do e-commerce myself, so I'm able to, you know, provide some insights. I'm not a fucking crazy expert or anything, but I'm able to provide some insights over the things I've, you know, learned over the past few years, right? So when I was talking to them, I realized that they, like, first things first, right? From the very beginning, I don't know if you guys ever had this experience, but like, they knew going into the actual, like, they knew going into the sales call that they didn't want to be sold. So when I reached out to them, they just were ghosting me. They're like, fuck this shit. I don't, like, this guy's just a sales guy. I don't want to talk to this guy, right? And I knew that these guys thought they were being sold to, and they just didn't want to feel like they were being sold to. So what I did was, eventually I had to work very hard to get a call out of them, right? I had to work very fucking hard. And like, I probably fucking called, texted for 4 weeks straight. And eventually I got a hold of them, and they gave me a shot, right? They gave me 1 call. Keep in mind, these guys were partners, right? And I got in touch with one of the guys. The other guy's just like fucking thinks I'm a dickhead, doesn't want to talk to me. Like, he's like, basically, fuck you, right? And the first guy, I had a conversation with him, and all I did that entire fucking conversation was drop value. Like, I helped them. I probably helped them make back what they paid for the program. You know, they paid $18,000. I probably helped them make that back just off what I told them. Point is, though, that first call, I provided so much value that the guy didn't see me as a salesperson anymore. He just saw me as someone who wanted to help. So when he ended up, like I was like, you know, we got to do another call, you know? And he agreed. He was like, yeah, we have to do another call. So in the next call, I did the same thing. I just dropped a shitload of value. They started really appreciating me, and that whole "you're a sales guy" thing kind of started to fade away. You know, we had another call after that, was the same thing. And eventually on the 4th call, they were the ones who brought up the sale. Because they, like, obviously the prospects aren't retarded, right? Like, they know that they know what this is about. They know that, you know, you have something to sell them, and they have the money to buy it, right? So they realized that, and they ended up bringing up the sale. They were like, hey bro, like, you know, honestly, like, I appreciate all this help. I just wanted to, you know, like, what is it that you're selling again? You know, and then what I said was just like, look, honestly, you can buy it, you cannot. It's up to you. But like, the point is, like, what I'm saying is just, it's so much more powerful when the prospect brings up the sale. Now, I'm not saying this should be your go-to sales strategy. By no fucking means should you keep scheduling follow-ups, you know, to eventually have a client bring it up. It's just gonna be way too time-consuming. It's gonna take up way too much time. But my point is, when people feel like they're being helped, they're gonna be a lot more inclined to buy from you, because they don't see you as a salesperson anymore, right? And when I say salesperson, the picture that I paint for myself of a salesperson is just a sleazy car sales guy who just wants to take advantage of you and up the price and get as much out of you and like milk you for as much cash as he can, right? That's my ideal of a traditional salesman, right? And that's what most people see salesmen as. So as soon as they stop seeing me as that, they converted and they wanted to buy from me. And it was an equal exchange. I provided a shitload of value. I thought in terms of what was best for them, and guess what? If genuinely the program or whatever I was selling was not right for them, I would have told them. And they realized that. So they heard what I had to say, they brought up the sale, and they ended up selling, or they ended up buying. And we closed $18,000. Yeah, albeit it took like 5 hours of work, right? But I mean, for 18K, it's pretty good. Like, what's 18K divided by fucking 5 hours? It's like 3.5K, 3.3K an hour. That's not bad, right? It's pretty good. So that's the point I'm trying to make here, and that's kind of what the inspiration was for this whole video. So just to summarize, if you are a salesperson or you're looking to get into sales, if you're looking to get into sales, just realize sales is not a scam. There's people like me out there who genuinely want to help, and that is the right way to do sales. And if you are in sales, remember back to the time when you had a friend or family member that you were super passionate about helping, right? That's the kind of emotion you want to use for all of your sales calls going forward. If you can replicate that every single time, you're going to be able to ask the right questions, you're going to be able to spark the right emotions, and trust me, you're going to be able to reach a lot farther than you normally would in your sales calls, like how they normally go, okay? And genuinely, if you just always keep that in mind, how do I help? How do I help? How do I help? And does it really make sense for them? You are going to do extremely well in sales. And if you ever have a dry spout, or if you ever have a dry spell, or you're getting fucked, like you're just not selling, that's probably why. Because you probably just don't give a fuck about the prospect, and you're focused too much on your sale, and you can't focus on the sale. That's something I learned from my previous mentors as well. So yeah, I mean, that's the video. Genuinely, I just want to help. If any of you guys are, you need sales help, or you're looking for, you're going through whatever problem it is, maybe that I didn't cover in this video, please feel free to reach out. I have a Jot form in my bio. Just schedule a call. I'm happy to help you. I'm not here to sell you anything. I do have a training. I'm just gonna complete transfer. I do have a training. But if you want to just book a call just to get some help, it is what it is. You don't have to be inclined to buy something from me. So just go ahead and apply for that if you need any help, and hopefully I'll talk to you soon.